Good evening, everybody. Back again. ZX next. ZX Spectrum next. Game coding. Gonna add more to our world. Specifically scrolling on the Y-axis. That's definitely happening today. I'm a bit worried about the size of a possible size of a game world. We're going to run into memory limitations perhaps. Have to find out on that one. But I thought I'd come and show what I've done and try and add a bit more. Let's get that sorted. Okay, so I've done a tiny bit of work on the code since last night. Specifically in the move left and right functions and the tile world scroll left and right. I believe when we left off we could scroll but obviously we didn't have this tiled world. I've also spent ages making this tile map. I think I've got the workflow sorted on that now to use GIMP. I can like rip sprites off a screenshot with GIMP, then I save it as an 8-bit bitmap, and then I run it through a program called IR View, something like that. Anyway, Fan editor, and that will convert it, and then I run it through eMoocs converter finally to get it into a 4-bit bitmap. I've managed to import it. It's quite a large tile set as well, so you know I've showed off a fair bit of it here. Scrolling's a little bit slow, but I've put the boundary in. Of course, there's no collision on trees or buildings. But as you can see, there is a screen scrolling buffer, like a boundary. And when you get to the edge of the world, it lets you walk right to the edge. I don't love the scrolling, the fact that it jumps a byte at a time. But for this sort of game, I don't hate it. I've looked at the ZX Next scrolling demo, parallax, and you can see they are rolling it. It is getting scrolled 1 pixel at a time, but you have that effect the old systems used to have sometimes, where you actually have an invisible cell that gets filled and then unfilled slowly as you scroll. So I'd say there's pros and cons for both. This, you don't get that happening, it just snaps. So for this sort of game, it's not an action game, it's pretty suitable. Like I say, we're going to have to add collision detection. There's more than one way of doing that. It would be nice to be able to store with the tile map whether a certain what tiles are solid and what aren't, but I'm not sure if that's possible on this particular system. We may need to store a separate map of collision. I've got an audio problem again, but hopefully it's not going to affect the stream. Microphone still works. Plug them in. Okay. So yeah, we've set out we've achieved what we set out to do here. I've also noticed when I'm moving, it's not always smooth. Although now I'm not noticing that. But yeah. So how I did that, it's a bit complicated. Yo, Jamie, can you hear me? Yeah, because I've lost my sound card and my battery ran out, but I think the microphone still works. Seems to be responding in Streamlabs. There's definitely no sound in the game just yet, so I think I'll be alright. I think I can get straight to making it scroll up and down. The bit I'm worried about with that is the size of the level. It's going to become big, and I don't know whether the Specky can handle that. You can, good. I mean, I created a nice tile map. It's nothing major. I'll get it on the screen in a minute and just show it. Oops. I wanted to leave a gap between that, really. Alright, so we start up here still. It looks like a heck of a lot of data to stick there. This is the only way I can imagine of doing a 3D, you know, a 2D world that you can walk around in. Just bring up the bitmap. Just so we can see the tiles we're working with. There we go. So I made this tile map, and you'll notice the first one seems to be 0. You have to have it blank, otherwise there's a problem drawing it. I spent ages trying to fiddle with it, and I noticed other people had done the same thing with their tile map, so I gave up. It doesn't really bother me having a transparent tile first, that's fine. And then we've basically got that. It's like an overworld tile map, that. Well, this is stuff that's in the town, actually. It's not a complete tile map, and actually I'm going to change the graphics completely when I make this into a real game. Thinking about making it about Red Dwarf. It's only going to be a tiny game, you know. I never could make a full-size version of this. But I'm going to do something like Red Dwarf, where you walk around with that kind of graphics. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, have puzzles to solve where you have to pick up items. There would definitely be baddies, so you'd have a fight scene like Final Fantasy, but you'd be fighting like the flipping kebab monster and all that sort of stuff out of Red Dwarf. It'd be pretty cool. Bit of a laugh, innit? No, I did not make this pixel art. Well, I made some of it, the rubbish stuff. But I took a screenshot of a NES game without any scaling. And it gave me a screen that they fitted into 8x8 tiles straight away. So I started ripping them out of that screenshot and putting them into this bit by bit with snap to grid on. It's quite convoluted because I had to then put it into a indexed on GIMP. Then I had to export that as an index bitmap, put it through another bit of software called IR Fan View. That produced an 8-bit bitmap as well, but that was the right size for Emooks tool, which then reduced it to 4-bit. And then I had a palette and a till file, which is what I wanted. One day I'll get round to writing my own tool. It basically needs to extract the right bit of the bitmap, doesn't it? I need a 4-color bitmap. As far as I know, I don't have to care about the palette. I could just use another palette. I know it wouldn't match up with the graphics if I start messing around with the palette. Ha, you got the caveman debugging. It only came through yesterday. I don't know, maybe I should have made the background transparent on that. Don't know what I was doing there. If I edit it, they'll probably make me wait another 3 weeks for people to use it. So there's our tile map anyway. I'm going to leave that on my screen so I can easily see what tile I want, you know, what number it's going to be and all that. And that matches up with, oh hang on, I can't do that. That matches up with this stuff in here. You'll notice little, it's in hexadecimal. So I'll just put like, I'm just going to put a row of houses just so we know we go down there, you know. These are the houses. Alright, so now we'll know we're in the bottom half, won't we? I'll put something right at the bottom as well. Let's put another load of houses. Okay. Alright. So the way we controlled this world in the X, it's obviously wider than the whole screen, that, yeah? It's twice the width. And somewhere we had camera here, camera X, and it's a word. But we only use the high byte. I'll do the same with Y. My Streamlabs back up. You like it? Nice, good vibes. I like it, mate. I like it. Okay, yeah, sorted. Right, so we're starting at 0, Y. Where's the player's position? Let's start him at 128 on both. Make it simple. Now, with the X and Y, with the right and left movement, it was a bit weird. I got stuck, and the way I fixed it is quite convoluted. I don't know if I could explain it that well, but I'll show you. Basically, left is different to right, quite a bit different. And if I remember right, the movement right, the scroll right of the tile world actually relates back to this routine. It will jump back to this routine. And I tried to get rid of that and do it a different way. In the left, I didn't have to do that. Well, I think I have just copied it into the left. I've done it in the left as well there. Look. So they both do it actually. Yo, Microman. Good to see you, dude. Made quite a bit of progress here. While I'm in here, I'm going to quickly speed the scroll speed up as well, just a touch. 48. Actually, that won't be smooth, will it? It needs to be 64. I don't know, that's pretty smooth. If anything, maybe it's a little bit too quick. Try that. Yeah, so it is convoluted. It jumps back from here into the move if you're over the right edge of the screen, or the whole world. So that just makes it move the actual character. If not, we scroll. So we want to do one or the other. We want to either move the character or the background, and that's what this is doing. The left one's slightly less complicated because of the most significant bit. It didn't really matter so much on the left. It was 0. You still do have to worry about the most significant, because if you're up in the very far right of the world and then you start pressing left, your value is actually less, so you have to still check if it's the most significant bit is 1 or 0. But yeah, it was a bit of a pain doing this, but I've got it done. I want to make up and down movement now. Might be worth just deleting the current up and down movement, because it's actually identical to the left and right. Or is it actually? Yeah, it is. It is. It has the most significant bit problem and all that still. So I'll copy the whole lot. Moving left is the same as moving up, and then moving right is the same as moving down. I'm not quite sure about these values being the same. Don't think they will be. Good job, Retro. Thanks, dude. I love the emotes, man. Keep them coming. So these values are going to be slightly different because it's 2/3 of the screen, the width and the height. I'm going to just go out on a limb and put 66 there. And that'll be MU. I'm sure these could be simplified, these routines, by the way. I had them much simpler, but they just had a few little problems, and I ended up with this whole mess to fix it, but it does now work. So that just exits the loop if they're both 0. That's the very top of the screen, so we don't even want to move the player. We might want to do speed slower for the up and down as well, or faster even. So that doesn't exist, that routine. Let's finish this bit. So yeah, 100. So I think it's 256. Ooh. That's wrong. Do you know what? I think it's 192. Ooh, that bugger's wrong as well, isn't it? Do you know what? I'm not sure we even worry about the most significant bit with Y. I know it does exist. But with that said, you can only see 32 tiles height. Times that by 8 for the amount of lines per tile, you get 256. So it can never go over that. And then there's the player's height to think about, which is 16. So the maximum we're going to reach is 240. I don't think I ever need to worry about the most significant bit for up and down. I'm going to start again from scratch on those two. So we're only interested. I want to see what's happening with Y, the player's Y position. Because I know I just deleted the movement code. I genuinely think this is where I draw it, and I genuinely think I've ignored the high byte, the most significant bit that's stored somewhere else for Y. I think I've never used it. So it could just be a byte instead of a two byte number. But so all we need to do with this routine is figure out if we want to move the player down on the screen or move the tile map, like scroll it down, and obviously then keep the player where he is. And then the deciding factor in that is, are you higher than that boundary? Are you a higher number? Well, it's moving up, so are you a lower number? And if you're a lower number than the boundary, scroll. It then gets complicated when you get to the top of the world, but we can deal with that separately, innit? Garbage data reading. How you doing, bread bun? This is mostly garbage data here for sure. But there's little nuggets of knowledge in there somewhere to be found. So that's the the scroll boundary top. So it's like an invisible barrier. When you get into like the top third of the screen, it will try and scroll. I'm not sure why I jumped in that one. Could call it. I think because it's easier on the Y, we're not worried about that high bite. It might be a lot simpler than I'm making it. Here we just want to check his camera Y 0. And if it is, we'll return for now. If not, scroll the camera up. Better than you could do, I wouldn't be so sure, man. I just have persistence, don't I? I keep going till it works. Try every single possible arrangement of them, you know, till it works. So this call to tiled world draw is just obviously it just draws the map after you move it. In these left and right, I had to do this nasty jump back into this routine. I think I can get away with just returning and not scrolling, and then instead of jumping, just call C, scroll, call NC. In fact, return C. So I better push the flag, get it back. And I think this won't be adequate. I will probably have to make another label in a minute. But if we reach this point, it doesn't want to scroll. It means we're above that number. So we just want to move the player at this stage. Again, checking it's 0 and returning for the player position this time, not the camera. And that's a move, isn't it? Yeah. So this is incomplete because it's going to get to a point where it gets to the end of the world. It won't scroll because it will return here, but it won't get to here because it will return. Let's try and see that in action. Thing is, I can't go up anyway. I can't actually. Oh, it won't even compile. Ah, label not found. Move down. I'm pretty sure it won't. It'll let us move up a tiny bit, and then that'll be it. Yeah. But that's the top of the world. So let's do the move down as well. Again, just worried about the small bite, and I think that's 192 this time. That's scroll boundary bottom. we're only worried about the small bite. And this is to stop the player movement, not the scrolling. So we want it to be able to go all the way to the bottom of the screen. So that's, I think, 255. Take away 16 for the height. Let's do take away 18 and do return NC. So it's more than that. And if not, move it. And then we need to do the scrolling. So again, this was checking was the camera at 0, because then we didn't want to decrease it anymore. This time we want to check. We still want HA, like the high bite in A, but we want to compare it to world height, which is actually 80 now. So that's incorrect. The viewport, we need the viewport height, which I haven't created yet. So if the camera reaches, we're trying to move it down. If it happens to be at world height, take away viewport height, then we don't want to move it, so we return. And this only moves at 1 at a time in the high bite, so it can never go 2 and miss it. Okay. I think in its most basic sense this will work, but as I suggested a minute ago, it won't allow you to walk to the very top and bottom of the map. You'll get stuck like that. Oh, in fact, I can't move down either because I'm in that position. If I load it again though. Oh no, I just can't move down full stop. So something is missing. I'd already added this, so it should just go down when I press S. Up seems to work okay. Ah, this should be NC. I want to make sure it's... Oh, hang on. Yeah, that's right. So when it's higher than that number, it will start scrolling. That's correct. But it's not scrolling. But at least we're moving again. And the left and right seems to work still. Good, good. And now, what's causing that then? Camera Y. I don't think I haven't taken camera Y into account when I'm drawing the view here. What we need to do is we need to multiply that by world width, whatever Y is. This could get tricky. I haven't thought of this. We only need the high byte of that. But now we need to multiply it by world width. So we're going down a certain amount of rows. Camera, it starts at 0. I'm just trying to remember. Here's where we actually move the camera, what I was just writing. So the high byte goes up 1 by 1. If this multiply works, this is the first time I've ever used this. But if it works like that, that's brilliant. I didn't even look it up in the docs, I've just tried it. Thing is, I do now need that added to one of these values. I'm trying to think which one it is. Think about this. We want it added there, really. Although it could be a big number, that's the problem. God, we're going to have a problem here, I know it. I've got another little idea of just looping and adding 40 every time. So at this moment, A equals the X part of the offset. So I simply want to add it to that now. Let's make a routine for it. Oh. Can rename it later. So A already contains the X part. We'll try and not destroy that. I need it in a 16-bit register though. Because like I say, it could easily go over 250. It was alright with this one because I knew the X was only going to be less than the width of the world. Alright. this really ain't easy. Let's get rid of these routines. All I really want to do is do y times 80 plus x. I think a routine was in order actually. And this will just b will equal y. And it'll just go through adding world width one time. So if HL was already equal in that, if we pretend, what a pain. So BC equals camera Y, which is good. Because I just wanted B to equal the top byte of Y. Thing is, I don't know if I can use DJNZ the way I've done it there. Perhaps if I... Oh yeah. Forget that. So I just won't use DJNZ then. Okay. Alright, I think that might do it. And then I want to do something similar to what I already done a minute ago. No, that's wrong. I'm confused now. I shouldn't be confused on this. I've been doing it all day. Trying to add the high bite only of camera to HL, sorry. I wonder would this work? This would be great if it does. I mean, I know it's a legal move, but good evening, Specky Nut. How are you doing, mate? That would be great if that does work. I'm very good, thank you, mate. Yeah, I've sorted out the left and right scrolling on this. I was happy with that. Now I'm trying to do it up and down. I've run into a couple of little problems. I can see exactly what the problem is. I think I've solved it actually. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It looks cool. I've added a new tile map as well, so it actually looks like a real game now. So what I've tried to do there is move the high bite. I only want the high bite of X camera, but I need to add it to HL. I actually didn't use promotions, Becky. I'll run through in a minute the exact workthrough that I'm using, but it's quite convoluted. But I like it because I was able to rip sprites out of screenshots of NES games, and it using GIMP, which I'm familiar with. Didn't take me long at all. As soon as I've done this bit, I'll show you. But long story short, I put it in GIMP, and it can be any kind of file. It can use as many colours as you want, but obviously you've got to keep in mind it's going to be washed down to 16 colours eventually. And then I use that IR fan to make it the right side kind of bitmap, and then Emooks tool works, and then it becomes a 4-bit. Alright, so I've now put it at the world. I've added the Y offset to HL here. Come straight back. I'm trying to just add the upper bite of CamX to HL there. Let's see if it works or if it's completely buggered. I put it on GitHub as a working one anyway, with the left and right. It's buggered. Oh look, it does scroll though. Okay, it's not that buggered then. Wonder what was causing that. Let's try commenting that Y bit out. So now it's just going to worry about the X again. Maybe that's it. It was something strange in the neighborhood. Yeah, look, when I take the Y stuff out. Whoa. I didn't like it when I held all directions then. Cool, that's new. I think it's jumping too far when it adds the offset. Empty memory, maybe. I mean, the memory's there. Like, the data's there, sorry. I just messed this all around here. This is because it was working perfectly until then. Yeah, I have stopped it going beyond the limits. Here's the move code. Here's where it checks all that. I must say though, on the wire, I've been ignoring the most significant bit because it can only go up to 255 anyway. It can only go to 240 in fact, or limit it. I'm pretty sure it's not a major problem. It's something tiny. This like I've probably used one of the registers in the wrong place and like corrupted it halfway through this routine here. This one here, or these three. I'm gonna roll myself a smoke because I normally come up with a solution while I'm doing that. I mean, if I have to go on GitHub, I can just get this back to how it was with the X direction working perfectly and work back from there. Because I just moved all this loading around. But what I'm trying to do is point at the world, take the high byte of Y, times that by 80, or add 80 that amount of times. I think this might be the problem here where load DE. Let's try making sure D's 0 there. Still no good. Okay, maybe I've just got my calculations wrong with the width. I think I have. Not my constants I meant to say, sorry. Yeah, world height for a star is 64. It is quite smooth, isn't it? I was surprised at that. I don't know what's happening there at the start there. Right, that's kind of good. That's what I expected to happen, where it stopped me there. And as you can see, I've solved that on the XY. I can go all the way to the edge of the world. And I can pretty much do the same thing with the top and bottom once I get my head around this. It's just slightly different because of the size of the screen. I was dealing with a most significant bit here in another byte. And it should be more complicated than what we're dealing with here. Could be the camera start position or something silly like that. Look, it's scrolling around like a good one here. It's just that top bit now. As you rightly say, it's going into the bit behind the memory, before the memory starts. That's what I think's happening. I'd actually go as far as to say this is probably working alright. We just saw it scroll around like a good one. But it appears start, it bothers us. Let me just check what the minimum player Y is. 66. So we start at 128, so that shouldn't be a problem. Oh wait. It only uses a small byte to position the sprite. I should probably have just made it a byte. It's getting there. Slower than I thought. I did think this would be actually not very difficult. Didn't foresee any of these. There's been a few little problems straight away I noticed when I started trying to code it. Just wonder what happens if I start my player at 350, 35. Oh, that's the X. Idiot. Strange as hell. Did it start anywhere different at all? So now it is at the bottom. No, it's not. Huh. Oh, it is as soon as you get to that top buffer. Hmm. $66 to something larger. Okay. It's something to do with the top buffer, but it's the camera position, I think, rather than the player that's doing it. I think that's what it is. It's like it doesn't seem to like it when the camera's 0. This gets called when because it did seem to trigger that. Then it checks the high byte, or is it with L to see if it's 0. We only really care about the high byte. Thing is, what happens when it ticks down to 0? It'll never quite reach true 0. Shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter. Oh, what a bummer. Something strange causing this. Well, I'm going to say it must be, well, it's almost certainly in my drawer where I just changed it. Check flags. For what? Check. Don't know what I'd need to check. Yeah, same here. Because I'm pretty sure I know what all the flags are doing. I can tell when things are getting triggered, if you know what I mean. I would bet it is in here that's the problem. It only seems to hate it when it's 0, doesn't it? Where's camera? Let's try putting it at that. See what happens. Oh, look at that, it booted straight up. I've got at the start of the video I explained it on the left and right particularly. They're done completely different. Look, it's only when we get up to there. So it's definitely the camera. Bang, as soon as you move your camera up. And then you move it down and it's okay again. So it's when the camera's 0. Maybe I could just set it to be 1 instead of 0. Try that. Work around. So yeah, it's blocked me there, but I can fix that like I did with the left here. So for some reason it doesn't like the camera being 0 on Y only. But now we've got the full world there. That because I put the houses right at the bottom. The person watching at the start would remember. I put them there to check we were at the bottom. Because I basically copied the world, but then I put a few houses in the bottom version. That's perfect now. I'm holding up. I just need to do the thing where it basically in the movement of the player, not the tile map. It's pretty spot on, isn't it, Specky? I'm still concerned as to why I can't go to camera 0. But I mean, I can live with it because you could just draw a load of trees up there or something. You know, it's not really a big deal. Just one extra character cell at the end of the day, isn't it? Ooh, no, it's nothing to do with moving down. I was going to say that looks like a bit of a weird combination of numbers. Oh, I know why I've done that, yeah. Yeah, so to fix that bit where it won't let you get to the edge of the screen, we need to change this return into another routine, and that's what I've done on the left and right. But here we have to worry about the most significant bit, and we don't need to do that now. But we still do need to not just return, because what we're saying here is, if you get to the top of the screen, the top of the scroll buffer, scroll, and then return. But we want to check. We need to find a way, because before I could tell by looking at the most significant bit whether we were right at the edge of the screen or not. But now I don't have that luxury. We're going to have to check the camera position from inside the movement code. And that's led me to back where I was before, because if you think about it, we could do that from inside this. We're checking the camera is at minimum here. So if it is, we want to move the player. We also do want to check if he's at true 0 or not. and we don't want to do that afterwards, so we'll jump to this. And luckily, I think because we don't have the most significant bit problem with this bit, I think it's that simple, and that's what I tried to do with the other one. But I ended up having to add another routine underneath for each one. But I think it'll just not scroll, and it'll move. It's going to jump to this part. Yeah, let's give that a try. So I'm hoping we can get right to the top edge of the screen now. Oh, too far it allowed us to go. Nothing stopped us moving. It did this time. And that's that same problem that I was talking about a moment ago. Speed is 2. So it could possibly go up by 2. Where was I? Here, unfortunately, that means it's a real pain. Well, no, it's not, because we don't actually need to worry about the high bite. Should not have made that. I should have just made it a bite. So just do CP2, return C. There we go. Beauty. Let's do the same on the bottom. I bet people are watching this cringing, who know what they're doing, but sometimes when you're beginners like us, you just got to take the process in your own direction, haven't you? Otherwise you don't learn. Well, you still learn, but it's harder to learn. That ups sound. Yo, thank you, Specky Nut. I haven't got any audio, so I don't know if that's working or not, but it looks like it is. Thank you very much. It means a great deal to me. I'm not here for the money, of course. I'm here. I mean, it'd be great to make some real money out of it, but I love just coding and I love chatting to all you guys. Like for Emook. I stuck a link to Emook's channel. I believe it's Emook's channel in my Discord, by the way. It's called Bleeding Chuck Norris. Why am I in this move up routine? I don't need to be. What am I doing? It's down I'm doing. I think that's him, yeah. I have asked him, but my memory's not great, so I could be wrong, but I'm 99% sure I'm right. Because I was 99 or 98% sure, and then I went on the channel and there's all ZXNX stuff. Yeah, he really is. Seems to know every single thing. I could probably do this channel for 10 years and I still wouldn't know as much as he does now. But at the end of the day, you can make games without knowing the ins and outs of the system. There are definitely possibilities. You find that you do run into like problems that you don't know how to fix. Plus, I'm reliant on tools like that export tool that Emook made. That I would have took ages trying to figure that stuff out. How did I move? Let's do the same one down. So it's as simple as that, isn't it? We'll do the same thing. I love it when I'm in this sort of territory though, because this is where I like to be, where I'm just actually using the logic registers. You know, I don't have to know the ins and outs of the systems. It's just pure logic here, like loading A with certain things, checking for comparisons. I'd go as far as to say this is ready. The worst thing about this is the collision. There's no collision detection. And if I was doing this on a modern system, I'd be looking to attach attributes to the tiles to say whether they're solid or whatever else might be, like, you know, are they a trigger box? Certainly is simpler. That is how you do it, isn't it? Look at this beauty. I mean, yes, I should be assigning attributes to these. Or the other scenario is I could make this hole, for example, a sprite. That's the next big task here. A sprite. Let's say you wanted to have an NPC standing here by this town where I am, right? And let's say I'm all the way over here. We have to find a way in the sprite engine of drawing it at this specific world space. Now the character here I'm moving, he's in screen space. He doesn't care where the world is just yet. I'm going to have to give him a world position as well as a screen position. We could probably just use the camera position, to be honest. But that is one of the very big tasks coming up. It's probably going to take me like several sessions to figure that out. I'm going to just finish rolling this smoke. Attribute for walls, doors, limits, sprites. Yeah. I was certainly trying to avoid using sprites if I can use the tile map. The only problem with a tile map is, well, no, there's no problem with it. I was about to say you can't have it layered on top of the sprite here, but you don't need it as long as you don't let the player walk into it. Like, I could make him never walk into this building. Doesn't really care what drawing layer it's on, does it? Until I walk over it. I mean, that was just an example, like a tree, for example. You don't want to be able to walk over a tree. It's a big problem, that. But equally big, if not bigger, is that thing I said about the sprite location. You know, it's easy to lay these tiles out. Of course, I could, if I figure out the tile attribute system. If I figure out the tile attribute system, I could just have a tile like 20, for example, or whatever it is. Could mean NPC spawn here. I guess all we've really got to do is go through this again, but instead of using them values to draw a tile, we want to use them to spawn the NPC or to contain a collision block. There's definitely an idea of using colour, yeah. Is there not a better way though, really? Like, when I say a better way, a very similar way to that, but instead of just checking the colour, check this ID and give it way more attributes. And when I say way more attributes, I was saying like what you were just listing above. I mean, I'm thinking ahead. I don't know how to implement that right now. It's just a concept. At least we got the multi-directional scrolling done. That was the focus of today's session, so we're well ahead of time there. What else did I actually write on the title? I forget. It was going to be... Oh, how big could the world be? Well, you know what? I'm happy with the size of that world. Maybe like another width and one down perhaps. So it'd be like quite a bit bigger there. But that wouldn't be the end of the world if that was the limit. As long as I could have more than one of them. Attribute for walls, doors, limits. See, I like that idea. It's just how to do it, isn't it? I mean, I know that if it's 23, for example, I know that's a tree. I know when I've used tiled the level editor in Unity, it's much easier, of course, but you set up a JSON file and it has any kind of attributes you want on it. You know, you can do custom attributes. You just add as many as you want, as long as you create in your code like a way of extracting that from the JSON. But that's not really relevant here. But maybe we can use that concept though. Like, for example, I'm trying to think, what do I really want to know from a tile? Is it solid? It would actually be able to be a solid, a trigger, or nothing, or not collide. I guess triggers, forget them. I can do them manually. That'll just be the odd thing that's like a door or something that you can walk over and go into another world. So basically, is it solid or not? To be honest, I don't think I need to know anything else, do I? Just that. So I take it what you're saying with the color checking is literally check the attribute that you're about to walk to for its color. And then if it is a certain color, it's a collision. Sounds straightforward, doesn't it? Is that how Pac-Man worked? Do you know, I've tried to create Pac-Man on so many different systems and I always struggle with that one. It's a top game. I love that game. I mean, I've made versions of it, but they weren't very accurate. I'm sure it will have. I know there is an attribute byte for the tile. We set it to default. One of these. I expect it's that. 6C. I'll look it up now and see if I can find some info. I'm starting to come around to using $ instead of 0x. I'm just lazy. Sometimes I don't want to press the shift. I've seen other apps do this, but I don't seem to be able to do that on Pasma. What should we call it? SJ. I think that'll be an error. Oh no, this time it'll run. But I tried that before with something else and it didn't like it. I think I'll go back to $sign. Right, next question 6C. So spec version used it. Okay. (6C) default tile map attribute. Here we go. Oh, that's just rotate, mirror X, mirror Y, palette for 3 bits, and the 0 bit is for if you have an extended tile set. So as far as I can tell from the documentation, which is here, I'll show it for anyone watching who's like me and doesn't read everything all the time. I've set this to 0 on the help of eMOOC, and it makes sense to because that would just be default. But here's what you can change with that. I was hoping you'd be able to set up a custom bit, bit 3 was 1, it was solid or something like that. Even if I could do that, I wouldn't know how to access in the code whilst I'm walking the player along to check if that next tile is a solid or not. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be easy, trust me. Because it would be easy if I was making a small platform game with smaller levels, because I could just manually create hitboxes that just matched up to my map, as a separate map. But this is a huge, great map. It'd be a shame to not use the data there already. I mean, I maybe could make a list of all the ones that are solid. I think they're solid. And then like the rock. Let's just do that in note form for now. Just gonna work through my tile map. Pretty boring stuff this, but what can I do? Got to try somehow. So I'll put you on this screen so you can sort of see what I'm doing. I'm basically working through every one of these and just writing down which one I want to be solid. And it's going to be in hexadecimal, but I'm not going to bother notating it. In fact, I'm going to put it into hex. Oh yeah, it is in hex. Just hasn't got the little sign. Let's make the grave solid as well, solid. Do you know what? At this stage, all I want to really worry about is the trees. So that's hex, remember. That'll do for now. So if we see any of them in the tile map, we know they're solid. But is that good enough? It's not very logical to be able to check each number. We need to go through it one time and check. If that makes sense. We want to try and find a way of working through the map one time, assigning a different value somewhere else to say yes, it's solid, and then leaving that. It's a bloody good question, this, because in normal in other languages I've used, this is really simple to do this, because you can assign a script to the object. Do you know what I mean? And the script could just say one thing: collidable, yes, and that'd be it. Fun challenge though. Okay. The other day, or in fact, yesterday night or this morning, I had a very clear idea of how I was going to do collision, but I have now forgotten it completely. It was probably nonsense. Where's Emu when you need him? I reckon the Emu would probably look at this and say you've just got to write the whole thing again to be able to do the collision. Because I've kind of deviated from his technique, I think. He was saying something about, I don't know, I didn't quite understand it. Something about storing this and then shifting in one at a time. I think at the time when he was describing that, we were making a side-scrolling platformer rather than this, though. I was sort of flicking between the two ideas. Then I ended up just doing this, and that's where I've landed, if you know what I mean. I've got the other project still with the side-scroller, but this one's way more into it now. Let's have a look. Just reading that. I mean, I do have blocks made up of several characters, that's the problem. Like the rock, for example, here is that big. Ignore that top line, but yeah, it was interesting what she said about taking the tile map. That's basically what we've been talking about doing here. But take your tile map character, take your character equals tile map. Why? Do you know that's exactly what my head was thinking? That formula. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. But the only thing is how do I denote these to be solid? Because there's quite a few. Like I say, if you look at this one closely, should I zoom in or can you read that? But if you look at that, oh look, that should be BF. I mean, I'm going to remake all this graphics anyway. Like the whole world is going to be changed when I figure it out. First link using a lookup table. I mean, I guess that's what I'm talking about doing when I say going through the world, populating another bit of data with all the solids. But like she rightly says, you can just check the cell, can't you? The tile map's already there, so surely we can use that data. The only difference is hers, it says player Y plus height divided by 8. But I don't I have my player in worlds in screen space. You see, it is slightly different. So my player never goes above 200 and something Y, 240 Y. Then the world just starts moving. And that's why I say maybe it's going to be advised that I just start again. Still might be worth a read. But yeah, it's too many things to read sometimes. But can't read everything. For some reason there it said the top link says University of Stirling link cannot be found. I think it's shrunk your link. Chutney. I've been on his site a lot, I tell you that. Recognise that one. Screen lookup table. It says plugin. I'm having a few problems because when I load the second link, it says plugin blocked. Manage. It looks proper decent, whatever they're doing. I'm in some weird game here now. N++, the world's best platform. Chutney's loaded alright. Collision detection in games, here we go. Yeah, because I could create the collisions in world space, which I probably will have to do. Like I said, the player's in screen space right now, but to convert that, I just need to add in his position to the camera. I say just, but when you're doing it in assembly, it's not that simple, you know, because you're normally using all the registers already. Sometimes I just have to walk around in the game to figure it out. I'm going to try that. So camera right now is at 1. At Y. Y is 1 on the camera. And the player's 128. You need a tea and toast. Fair play, man. Fair play. Now, like I say, that house there, I have to shrink this a sec. This house, where is he in the data? I forget. 1, 2, 3, Can't find the little bugger. So there's our house. Let's put some right up there next to the trees. Yeah, so I'll put a house up there. Just makes it easier to calculate its position and stuff manually, you know, in your head. I wish I could like underline it or something in this code. But it's that value there. Cameras is already at 1 for some reason. On Y. So that house currently 1, 2, 3 is at 2x, 3y in world space and screen space at the start of the game. I basically need to convert the player into world space. Right then, back in the player. I don't like the name set position there. Let's just call it calculate. Calculate world space. So I'll put these here, but I'm going to move them to the top later. Some variables. We've already got it actually. Now it's quite funny this, because we're already using words. That's why I was wondering how that can even... We should be at 0 still there technically, because we only use the high byte. I don't know how that's working. But it is. I just wonder... Tile maps, codes. Pairing them based on the player's position. That's basically what I'm trying to do, mate. But like I say, the player's position is done in screen space. And like I say, this... we only use the high byte for the player's position. And the map is done in cells in world space. So it's quite different, you know. The player could be at 0, 0, for example, and he could be here. Or, you know, he could be at 50, 50, and he could be here. Or there, or there, or anywhere. We wouldn't know. So we have to convert it which just basically means taking the camera position into account. But then there's the added complication of where I'm using a word already. Oh yeah, it does take the lower into account with the position. I've just remembered. There's the multiple of 8 things to worry about, but then there's also the camera offset. Like I say, if the camera's at the bottom of the screen, the player is oh god, it's not very big. Oh god, I buggered this code up as well. I think I didn't save it, that's all. Yeah. So the player's at 128 right now, yeah? So if we divided it by 8 and there happened to be a cell here that was collidable, yes, we'd collide because the camera's at 0. It's actually at 1, but as soon as I move here like this, and then I move back to where I was, I'm in the same place now for all they care. So I have to convert it to world space. Which, as I keep saying, just means adding the camera's amounts to it. That's all. And then we divide by 8. Hopefully that's right anyway. Calculate world space. Hopefully it makes sense, yeah. I mean, I know in my head it makes sense, but I'm sure to run into problems along the way. You can only find out when you try, so I've just got to start typing something really. Get the player's X. It's a 2-byte number. I'd love to be able to do this, but I don't think you can. Huh. It compiled. I'm like 99.99999% sure you can't do that. Just checking on my website there. It takes an mighty long time. Okay. No, you can't do that. You can only add to HL with B, C, D, E, HL or SP. I don't even think you can do that, unfortunately, but maybe you can. Okay. Is it enough just to add the two separately like that? When I say the two separately, just to do Y and X separate? Or do I need to do some stupid thing with Y? Trying to visualize this. I've chosen quite a tricky game. It seems easy at first because it's like a basic slow no action game, but then it gets tricky with stuff like this straight away. I think my biggest foe will be the amount of data I want to use to have different levels and stuff. Okay. So if we want to know the exact cell he's in, I guess we do want to divide it by 8 as well. Camera X. Camera X is a word, and it will work. Thanks, Microman. I think the reason I'm having a problem with that is the way I use Camera X, I only actually care about the upper byte. The lower byte is just to smooth the movement out, like a timer thing. So really I only want to add the upper byte to it. Hang on. Camera. Yeah. Yeah, so what I've done there when I draw it is I've taken the high byte from camera, put it into the low byte, and then I've cleared the high byte. But if I divide player X by 8 first, that's already in cells. And I only want D. So it'd have to be, I want the upper byte. It's a pain, man. Let's delete all that. So I've written this really awkwardly, this code. I know how it works, but it must be really hard for you guys to see what's going on. But to demonstrate that, look, that's what I'm talking about. I'm only using the upper bit, the upper byte. The bottom bit really doesn't matter. That's just so that when we hold right, it adds 32 to the lower byte, and then it waits to cycle up, so we don't move immediately every frame. Here we go. You follow it as well. You're a mind reader. That's good. That's good. I mean, I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like. It could be impossible to follow. It could be perfect. I wouldn't have a clue. Let's get the player X again. Just the high byte. Oh, I keep saying that, but that's what I mean. This is where I'm getting confused. X for player does take the low byte into account. It takes both, doesn't it? I don't know any way of dividing a 16-byte number, 16-bit number. I feel like I need to do that. I mean, I could just ignore it, and then it would just mean the collision won't work over the very far right of the world. I'd have to stop and walk in that far. At least it would allow us to test this sort of using the tiles as collision objects. I'll take a low bite then. Oh, in the movement code, I'm going to have to stop them now moving. That's all my hard work gone, where I allow them to move. Oh. I'm going to go ahead and just do it with just a low bite, and it's not going to work properly, but at least we can go towards the left side of the screen and test the collision out. Alright, divide it by 8. We'll load that into B. And then load A with we want the upper byte of camera. X. Add a B. Alright, that might just work. Again, like I said, it's not going to work when I go towards the right of the screen. It's going to break. But if you pretend that I've blocked it off from going to that far, does this then hold up? I believe that'll give us our world space of X in cells in world space, as I keep saying. Funny enough, why you do only care about the little bit, the little byte. What about camera? We only care about the upper byte of camera. Of course, we need to save that value, and it shouldn't be in words. These could be bytes. Okay, well look, what we'll do, Micro, is I'll put a pin in that. I have read that before and it confused the hell out of me, but we'll try it. But let's try and get just the collision working first on with what we've got, you know, on the left hand side of the screen. Because this could just not work at all. That dividing thing is only really going to help with, you know, when you go over 250 on the X. Okay, so we've cached world position for X and Y. And I believe there's a niggling part of my brain telling me I have to do something more complicated with Y, like timesing it by the world width. I think I've already done that though. I don't know if I have to do that twice. I think it's alright. So we want to do that every frame really, or at least every time we move. Let's just do it every frame for now. Can't spell. Should say world pos. Not really calculating the world space. Okay. Alright. Oops. Okay. Well, now we know what cell the player's in. We still have to work our way through this and know which ones are solid. Sounds pretty cool. Do you know my mate from up north introduced me to jam and sausage sandwiches with toast? It's amazing. I couldn't believe it. Because it was funny, it was all I had. Yeah, I only had jam, bread and sausages. He was like, what are you on about, mate? You can make an amazing meal with that. Yeah, I think it had to be strawberry or one type of jam. I can't remember what the jam was. I never thought it was going to be nice, but you should try it because I was knocking it. I was taking the piss out of him. And then he cooked it for me. And it was one of the best, honestly, cheap meals. I don't know if that's like a Newcastle delicacy because he's from Newcastle. But he thought it was proper normal. Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? It tasted way better than that, you know? It tasted just amazing. In fact, I'm craving for it now I've said it. Yeah, I love the cranberry sandwich with turkey, of course. Oh, and the stuffing. You know this. Ooh, how are we going to get through this and know what ones are colliding then? Oh, what? Special Kool-Aid. Special mix. Yeah, I just never go near doctors. Can't have them. Cancer surgery, oh my god. Well, I guess they're useful. The doctors prove useful for you then. I'm stuck here. Perhaps I could do what you were saying, Specky. Oh god, yeah, we can't get anything. I tried to get a dentist the other day. I was absolutely desperate for a dentist, you know. They said it'd be 2 years waiting. And they tried to discourage me from signing up to, they said, you have to sign up to a list and wait 2 years. I said, well, okay, I'll sign up. Yeah. I mean, luckily, I say luckily, but luckily it turned out to be an infection that goes down from my ear. And it went away of its own accord, but it felt like all my teeth were going to fall out, everything, you know. I have actually had some fall out because of it. It keeps coming back. But this time, you know, it was really painful. And I was ringing them just saying, look, I'm not the sort who just phones up all the time. I'm genuinely in need. They're not interested if they can't make money out of you, really. Especially not right now. Yeah, you should get it sorted while you can. The NHS, you have to pay like 30 or 40 quid for a filling. If you've got a job. If you're like on income support or whatever, you can get it for free. Like I say, I doubt you'll find anyone who can do it anyway. I was offering to pay. Obviously, I couldn't go to a private where they just charge me like 50 quid just to look, you know. 190. Yeah. Saying that, I would have paid that like a shot, but I think it needed more than just a fill in, unfortunately. It would have been hundreds, you know. I needed lots done. But it's okay, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I actually have more severe medical problems, but it's not worth. I just live with them, you know. At the end of the day, can't let it get you down. There's always soup, exactly, my dude, exactly. I think it's 30 on the NHS, yeah. I did used to have a lovely dentist, but I didn't go and see her for like 2.5 years. The thing is, I don't need to see him. I'm not going to go, you know. Simple as that. Oh, my brain. In this loop here, we know what part of the screen we're on, sort of, don't we? That it moves the world with the camera offset already. So we could use the player screen space if we check from within here somehow. But that does ask a question or pose the question, like, how would you manage to say place an NPC? He's not in the tile map, but we'd want to place him next to that town, for example. You still need a way of describing it in world space. It's funny, some of the stuff in C Sharp or C++ that would be so easy you take it for granted. There's always soup. Coordinates. I've basically worked out the coordinates. This here, this routine here will tell us exactly what grid cell the player's in this map. In fact, it caches the values, so we've got values cached to tell us what cell we're in. Yeah, hi by the way, Geo. This has a double caveman debugging here. I've been stuck for quite a while. I'll have a look, my dude. I think I've read this. I'll have another look though. It might help, although he's obviously drawing the tiles. I can't see where he actually adds a collision detection. Not at first glance, at least. I was watching the snooker earlier. I got a good bet on it actually because Ronnie O'Sullivan went 2-0 down. I put a bet on him and then he won everything after that. Okay. I'm just going to try a real cheeky little thing here. We're just going to... We're going to take this value and this value. I'm going to times this by the weld width. Then add this. And then we know what cell we're in that weld. So we can look at whatever that byte is. Yeah, I'll just make the border flash for now. That's definitely what I'm going to do. Or we haven't got a border actually. I might have to put a sound in there or something. Or I'll put a breakpoint. The dreaded breakpoints. I use them as like a last resort, don't I? Where's the world data? What's that called then? Oh, overworld. So what I really want to do is add. I want to load HL player world Y. Oh, that's actually a byte, which is very handy. I am on the next now. I just missed your comment somehow there, Gio. Yeah, I was messing around with the specky a lot and having great fun. But I was constantly getting asked to do next videos. When I say constantly, it wasn't constant, but most of my comments on YouTube were about the next. And I thought, well, I keep running out of memory. We can't scroll things very easily. Let's try out this next. I'm way beginner at it. I'm really stuck on 99% of the stuff. But it's great fun anyway. Now there's a multiply keyword. So what I want to do is multiply that by world width, right? But world width is 80, and player world might be. It could be easily 80 or 40 or something. So that isn't going to fit in A anymore, is it? Quickly look up this multiply keyword. I'm not going to spend long with it. Or opcode, I should say. Old Specky's collecting dust again. Because I had intended to go to the C64, hadn't I? For the same reason of having sprite hardware and stuff. But one day I looked at it and I saw lots of people running into trouble, running out of data on the sprites and that, and I thought, oh, it is alive in spirit. We'll definitely revisit it, trust me. I'll be making some complete games in the ZX48K for sure. I've got a couple of half-finished ones which aren't that far off finished. Frankenspect. Ooh, a 16-bit multiplication. MLT. I saw it somewhere. Oh, Z180. Never heard of that. No, there's no malt. That's a shame. This is the bit that's killing me, killing my code, is how to times it by 80 so it goes from being a 1 byte value to 2. Advanced maths, I'm reading it. And I'm reading the extended Z80 instruction set for spec next. Mul. Next, extended opcode multiplies D by E. Storing 16-bit result into D. Awesome. You're making tacos tonight but can't have any. What's that for, your son's football team or something? Okay. Load A with that. Load DA. Multiply D by E. Do I have to use E? Can't I use a constant? Oh, you were just saying, yeah, of course. It's funny, you can't help but cook anyway. You love to cook, don't you, Microman? Liquidize it. Put it on an intravenous. Taco drip. There's nacho cheese. Just on drip. Trump would probably recommend it. Add extra American vigor. Clear, bro. I think I could do fasting for an operation as long as I could drink fizzy drinks and that. I'm alright. But if I can't drink or eat, I'd be screwed. Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to eat any spicy stuff. Oh, no sugar. What about Diet Coke? Right, so anyway, DE is exactly what we want it to be now. So that's bloody brilliant. So now we just need to add the X offset, which is a 1 byte number to this 2 byte. Some of that might not be necessary, but I'm not sure it might be actually. um, Alright, so at this stage, as long as I've done everything correctly there, you know, in between our chats, which I highly doubt I've done it correctly, but if I have, HL should now be the exact point in that map where the player's standing. So let's just check. House. There's several for house, which is what I was going on about earlier, but let's say hex 64, the bottom right of the house. Let's just see if we can trigger a collision based on that, and there's another one down there that I don't even know what to call the bloody thing. It's only a test, yeah. I'm not very good with bringing up the values. I'm sure I could. I have got a font print. I printed a message to the screen, but it started to break. I ended up commenting it out because it didn't show up for some reason. The font, probably because I'm loading some other data over the top of it, the tiles or something. I could maybe import my sound code from the 48K. I might be able to just make a sound. I'm trying to think of some silly way of testing it really quickly because I don't even know if it's going to work. Trying to think of the quickest way. Maybe exit the game. I've got rid of the NPC now, but it's easier said than done. All that flat because there's no such thing as flash anymore with these sprites. But I can set other attributes to do other things, like I can mirror the Y, for example. Where did I put that? I had a note telling me what all them attributes were. It was in sprites, I think. Yeah, here. I could rotate, yeah. I could set the palette ID to something different. Although I haven't had much success with changing the palettes. it seems to reduce the colours down. I think you have to stick with them. You probably have to upload a palette or something. I don't really know. But that's the palette. That's the sprite ID. Pattern ID is sprite. So I could just change it into a different sprite. I think I'll just mirror the Y. Attribute 2, byte 2, bit 2. I think that stays at 0. Oh no, this is where the mirror is, isn't it? So we're actually animating the player using that. So I only want to change one bit, fortunately. I should call it mirror, not flip as well, because that's what they call it on the next. Okay, I think that'll be alright. So with that, I just XOR. I can do the same. So it'll just invert whatever the mirror status is. This will be bloody obvious, this. The head will be on the bottom and the feet will be above the head. Thing is, I did just want to do it just one time. So for now, I'm going to comment that one out. Don't want to OR it. Because I want to keep... Yeah. I want to keep the other one. So now it'll just go to 1 as soon as we collide. The only reason I'm not doing rotate is because I've already got this set up. I mean, I'll add to do rotate afterwards, straight after. Just want to see if it works first. So mirror sprite Y. If I call that upon collision, hopefully we'll see. It should only happen once. It shouldn't just keep flipping. It shouldn't keep mirroring them. Doesn't seem to be working. Maybe I'll do this rock instead, just to check. Nah, it doesn't need to. I said 63, didn't I? In the code. Oh no, 64, yeah. I think what's happening is this is the tile map, but then does it get converted to an actual tile by the time it goes into the memory? What's interesting? Just the whole next. I find it bloody interesting as well. There's lots to learn. It's cool though, the blend between retro and modern here. I quite like it. I kind of hope they bring out a newer next, like a handheld maybe or something like that. Really try and get it into the market, especially if it can handle nice looking games like, that are better than NES games. Yeah, they're pretty colours. You can really have some nice graphics because this was just like sort of a couple of hours or less work. You know, it was a real hack together job. But imagine if you spent love and care over it, you could really make it look nice. It certainly seems like it's not flipping, doesn't it? Let's put a breakpoint in. I forgot about that. So just in case you didn't know, I've got a file called tools, and at the top of that I've got some macros. Well, one, and that's how you do a breakpoint. I could just write that right in the code, just that highlighted bit. That's all that does. It just copy pastes that into it. Ah, look at this! Look. Oh, I love this this extension. Have you seen the the intentional mistake here? Intentional in inverted commas. All mistakes are intentional. I'm just going to do it every frame. Do it after the calculation of the world position. And let's hope it works. Did you notice how I nearly jumped the gun, and started messing around with the code before checking the base? In fact, my memory's crud, and I'm not convinced that I didn't change some code there before. Hey, Fonz style. Woo! I need a Fonz GIF for that. The Vega 2, I've heard of that. I tried to learn the Master System Geo. It's not easy. I found this more intuitive, although eMOOC has massively helped me. So for example though, I mean that I don't want to go too deep into this rabbit hole because this was just a test. Yo, Specky Nut, thanks my dude. You're keeping me in jam and biscuits, my dude. Got the good stuff. Jam and sausages. I want to see what it'll look like with XOR, see how quickly it just spazzes out sort of thing. Because this was just a temporary fix anyway. And that's actually what I want the mirror character to do. You know, if I wanted to have this routine, I want it to just flip it. I don't want it to be hard coded. Yeah. To be fair, I know eMOOC isn't going to be bothered, but I deviated from his advice at some point because I couldn't understand his. Sometimes, obviously, his way is probably better. He's been doing it decades, but at some point, I had to start writing my own code, so I understood it. Yes, Geo, exactly like there is on the Next. But luckily, like I said, I had eMOOC's help where he was just like, yeah, you just next. If you look at this, for example, um, all this to get the tile map uploaded. You know, I would have never known to go through all them. I tried reading the docs. Doesn't really say just straightforward, just do this, 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 this. Doesn't really say that. So luckily he was here, and within an hour we had it all up and running. You know, the basic version of it. Yeah, that's true, Specky. And sometimes they can see where I'm going wrong, and they try and explain to me. And it might not be an optimized thing. They just know that a problem's coming up that I haven't foreseen. They're trying to explain. And I think it might get frustrating because I can't understand every single thing. I'm not an expert yet, but getting there, you know. I mean, this is here forever now. We know how to do tile maps now. We just have to look back on this and we'll see. And this is a pretty goddamn simple version. Alright, so, I mean, all well and good. We've collided with something that's aligned in the default camera spot. Let's try and collide with one that's down here. I think that we already have one. Let's put another one down there. I'll copy it down. This is a house here. I'll put it like right down here. Oh. And I'm gonna try and avoid any collision. Get down there. We've still got the nasty thing about the right side, if you remember, at the very start of when I've done this. Oh, it just collided with something then. I don't think it's working. Nah, it's not, look. Oh, maybe it is. But yeah, I think I know what's happening. I changed this, didn't I? Yeah, definitely specky. Oh god. Oh, I was like, I can't move properly, and I was pressing the wrong keys. Oh, it doesn't like it though, see? I expected him to have moved, to have flipped. Yeah, we started to do a platform. I've got one just started off. It's like we've got the map drawing. That was weird though, because it did work at one point, didn't it? At least that first house. And did you see it? Yeah. I had that showing on the screen at the end of one of the videos. I was chatting with Emoot for a good 10-15 minutes at the end, wherever it is. And I just had that displaying with the sprites sort of bouncing around. But yeah, it stopped working that. We'll look at that as here it is. But for some reason all you get is one brown square here. Like you get one brown square and nothing else suddenly. Which was a bit odd. But that was the basis of our dialogue system. Like when you walked up to the NPC, it would pop up and say like and subscribe. And basically you just have to uncomment that. We've made it every... Ah, that's not every frame, is it? That's just at the start. Okay. But you'll see there'll be a brown square there now. Oh, whoa. Maybe not. Oh no, Micro, that doesn't sound too good. Oh, the breakpoint kicked in though. That's good. I don't know how to I pressed F1, it carried on braking. I think it was just continually stuck in going to that breakpoint. Let's get rid of that dialogue message. We can worry about that another time. Just hope that it draws correctly now. Rightio. We should be colliding there, you see. So up there collides. Ah, see, yeah, I'm exiting the breakpoint, but I cannot get back into the game. Nice. That's a bugger, yeah. So the breakpoint works perfectly, but because we're still within the cell, as soon as I release it and go back in, it just puts me back into that menu again. Hmm. How could that be the case? That it finds this first one, which is here. I did notice it seemed a bit early. Perhaps it's somehow getting set more and more off. Let me experiment a bit more with playing it. Somewhere around here. Yeah. It could be one of two things that I'm thinking of. First one would be nice and simple. Just try checking collision before we calculate. So it's on the previous position really now. I think that'd be even worse actually. I'd say it's about the same. Anchor point. Or origin of the sprite you mean? Or? Yeah. 0, 0, top left. That could be why. It's like immediate, isn't it? It happens immediately. Which is fine. I'm happy with that. See how strange that is though? It should have collided then. And then you do get the collision. Very odd. I think I'll put that below again. My instincts tell me that should be done straight after that. Of course, even if we solve this, this is only a tiny step of the way because we'll have to add the target position and do this check on the target so that if it's a solid, we don't let them walk into it. But I'll do that tomorrow. It's nothing we haven't done before. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going out of kilter. They shouldn't be because the world is definitely 80 width. Now, this would I need to put a to-do here because this only works on left side of screen. If X I forgot the shorthand way of writing upper byte, but if X is over 255, this breaks. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Don't know though. Maybe there's a way of doing it without showing the values. It'd just take longer. Yeah, but the problem is I don't want to go get stuck into trying to display text and then I'll forget exactly what's wrong with this, if you know what I mean. Because the text is not as easy as you think. You can't use like the ULA screen. We have to display it. We've got these fonts getting uploaded. Look, that's probably it. That didn't help. and then dialogue. But like I say, the longer I spend doing this dialogue, the more I forget about where I was with that other thing. That's weird, that. And it's nothing to do with that either, because it happens even if you do that. I'd say that's alright. Seems to be. Pointing away from the text graphic. It's definitely this routine that's causing the crash. Page 7, slot 7. Yeah, that's what I'm just wondering. I don't think it is. You normally just have to open that slot and that page and then point at that bit of memory. But I can't see I'm doing any of that. Pointing at the tile map. I think this was an EMOOC piece of code. Oh god, so we've got this, look. I didn't remember importing this. I think it's probably worth just commenting out text. I'll probably spend the rest of the video doing it and won't even finish getting that done before the end, I don't think. Quite often, you'd be surprised how often I can do things by eye, and just by stupid trial and error. Let's leave that out for now. It seems like we just needed to point at the perhaps even just don't look like we need to load any register. Maybe BC. Dialogue. I remember writing that now, it was really confusing. The offset was not the same as what you're used to. God, goodness knows what's happening there. It looks to me like it's actually changing the screen layers. To be honest, I'd have another go at writing text before I start. I want to get rid of all his plot tiles and do my own version. But it's not a simple job, because the fonts, they are size 8 by 8, but they're actually working in a 16 by 16 cell sort of sprite size. So you have to do like a sort of software tile map. Just put in a tile map. Yeah, I'm well confused with it myself. It's another whole session, that, or two. Let's check these collisions. See, yeah, none of them down here. Oh, that one did. Very strange. Is that a different type of house? No, they're the same. Should be able to collide there as well. Yeah. Something's gone astray with it. Funny how it works for some of them. I'm happy that I at least managed to use multiply. World width is definitely right. Ah, no, it's not. Yes, it is multiply. That's what I wanted to do. Let me try that. Interesting. Absolutely no collision now. Okay. That's made me very worried. I think maybe it will be time to shift attention next session to doing the fonts, like you suggested. Because if I get some rudimental dialog box up, then I can actually print these numbers, can't I? Hopefully. It might not be even that easy. You've got to convert the numbers into a string. Yeah, hopefully that'll work. I can imagine one of the session tomorrow being quite slow as well, because I'm stuck in such new territory. You know, it's always slow going now, but it's, you know, brand new stuff when you learn it, which is great. It's a shame though. Just for a second felt like it was going to work. Wonder what's causing it to not. So we take camera position. Just out of interest, I changed the player speed to 1 instead of 2. Just to see if that helps. The answer will be in there. Okay, I'll check that out. It looks to me like the collision is actually working. It's just too small a block. You don't notice it. It's easy to skip through it. You have to get the upper left bit of the player to go with the very bottom right of the house. I don't know actually. There should be a collision there. And then we get one there. It's so odd. Aren't you early for getting text to the screen? Yeah, I'll check that out tonight, mate, when I'm on my own. I can always read through guides a lot easier then. There's a box there hitting us. I'm trying to find if there's like a ghost box. Because if there is, I can sort of maybe see what's going wrong. Something's definitely astray. Yeah, there's going to be several that are solids. I would have thought. I mean, every one of them houses contains a 64 block, though, you know. Where was it? Player. Because I could do the same thing, couldn't I? Should jump to there really, just to make sure. The rock there, for example, as well. Oh no, we can't go too far right at the moment because I know that's going to fail. But trees, let's try and get them colliding. So 3, 4, 23, 24. I'll do that like that to keep them matched up. Again, I'm sure there's a better way. This, in my mind, would work. Okie dokie. Yeah. I wonder if it has anything to do with when I scrolled it on Y. I think it has, you know. Something to do with multiply, I reckon. Because if you don't scroll to Y, the collisions seem to work. Oh no, I didn't scroll Y then. Alright. I've got a ghost collision. Take the grass. The problem is if I detect the grass I won't be able to move the player. Do you see what I mean? It's just going to continually break point. The grass is 20, yeah? Hash 20. Ah look, it's not detecting it. See that? Oh, jump when not grass, that makes sense, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I wonder why that happened though. Something's up with that whole routine here. Like you say, it'd be lovely to be able to print them values now, so we know that they're correct. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could just look through the actual through the registry. I might well do that. Let's say jump NZ, like you said. Oops. So it instantly jumped. It instantly broke. Yeah, I've got to figure out how to look through all this properly, haven't I? Not quite sure what I'm looking at there. Press F8 to step over. I think F7 step. Oh look, it's stuck in a loop here. Yeah, that's correct. But I have no clue why. It'll probably be a job for tomorrow. This, I think. Look, here's load D40 and EA. I recognise that from my code. Then the mole there. Look. Just after that, we set the value of world X. Can't see where it happens though. Oh well. I'm very much stuck here. I'll put it back to jump Z, so this is when it first detects grass. I have no clue why it can't do it. That's so odd. I don't really recognise this code. Ah, I just noticed it then. Shite. And now it's stuck here again. But I noticed it somewhere, it had brackets, and I saw the value, it just had an address. There, Z81FA. God knows how you could actually find that in here though. What value is it storing to? No, I don't know how to use this debugger. I'm thick. Oh god, I went too far again, didn't I? It's this here. There. That's where we store it. Doesn't show me anything. Oh, just when it got to the line I wanted to, it went to here instead. See, I don't like this in A. And it's stuck there. God knows. Pop AF. Okay, unfortunately I'm stuck in that loop now. Ah, I managed to do over. There's a push AF. Pop AF. Oh, it's a headache using debuggers when they're like this. It's not user friendly enough for me. I should be able to. I want to be able to click these and see information on them and that. Near above camera player position. Mull. I saw the mull, yeah, but I couldn't do anything about it. Jump back to the assembler. Here you mean. What we actually want is here, don't we? Particularly Y. I think it's another job for tomorrow, I'm afraid, because quite often I get online and I get on coding in the day, and I see solutions that I can't see at this time of night. Yeah, Yeah, and even when I'm watching a show tonight, I might suddenly think, oh, I'll try that. I'll probably end up just deleting this and rewriting it. I don't know though. It's pretty gosh darn close. I've got to also worry about that. See, I might end up doing it properly with the X, most significant bit. I tried just a quick one to see if we could get it to work. But maybe that's what's breaking it, the fact that I'm ignoring that, I'm not sure. It's a shame though, I really can't figure out what's gone wrong there. Nah, there's always tomorrow. I'm definitely going to keep trying until I get there, so it's the only good thing I can say right now. There was a lot achieved, yeah. Yeah, maybe we should have a quick glimpse, just a quick wander around again. Some people probably only watch the beginning and the end. Oh, of course it's doing the where is it? I'll just turn off collision for now. Yeah, exactly, I've got rid of the pink. It's funny because we've got a pink transparency on the background, but if you notice, the guy's coat is pink. I like the edges though, that took a lot of work getting this working with these edges. And then you can wander all the way to here. It's like a proper game, isn't it? The scrolling's not perfect, you know, but it's okay. Yeah, I'm well happy with that. Once we crack collision, it's all about, well, then it's the dialogue system is the only other hard thing. And then we can do the battle. I think I'll do as soon as I've got collision working, I'll create some NPC enemies, and as soon as I've managed to collide with the enemy, I'll create a battle scene, because that's going to be the most fun bit of this whole project, I think. Can't wait to do that. Can't believe it's specky, yeah. Quality, innit? I mean, obviously it's a modern specky, but why not, eh? Why not? I love it. It's like better than NES now. Because I wanted to make a game for NES, but that looks really tricky as well. Exactly, yeah, exactly. Why not? Thanks again for the bits, Specky. They really helped me out, man. I'll be here tomorrow as well, same sort of time. There's a possibility I'll do a daytime stream, but I'm finding myself a bit tired out recently, so I'll make sure I don't overdo it. But yeah, it's a SNES key. I like that. Yeah, thank you very much, Specky. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, or, you know, later in the week. I'll be here almost every night. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think we will get this sorted tomorrow, one way or another. Just a basic collision. So yeah, I can only say thank you for your support, your help, advice, and support. It means a massive amount to me. Anyone watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Yeah, I'm burning both ends as well. I understand exactly what you're saying there. You can only like get time to yourself at night, so you end up staying up way too late. I think a lot of us are in the same boat. Just fumbling along. Yeah, we all are, especially with this lockdown thing. I mean, phew. I can remember March, I just kept thinking, oh, I'll go and get my hair cut in a few weeks when all this dies down. And it went on months and months, you know. And it could easily get like that again, couldn't it? I don't know if you're up north or not, but I know it's already bad up there. Hope everyone's alright. It's a great time to code if you're stuck indoors. Yeah, me too. I honestly think just once. I think once before the lockdown and then once after. Yeah, same here. Sometimes I'll go over a month, but not very often. Yeah, I feel like I've got like a helmet on my head, it's like a fluffy helmet. I'll get a webcam one day, but I need to sort a lot of stuff out in my bed sit. Shave it off. Do you know, I keep asking people to shave it off, but they keep saying no. I've been thinking about shaving it off, but I mean, the hairdressers, the barbers are open currently. I'm just being lazy. I could have went there today. Yeah, yeah. Cheers, Becky. Everyone else as well, thank you for watching. You're welcome to lurk if you're here. That's brilliant. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. Nice to chat. See you soon, Becky.